Hello everybody, this is Podrig, or also known as the Masked Guy, and welcome to the very first episode of the Masquerade, which is going to be my weekly show, not quite a podcast, but same kind of thing, where I'm just talking about games, little bits about myself, knowing pretty much every video of mine that I've ever made. I'll probably end up talking crap a lot, and yeah, so I hope you enjoy it. I hope it all works out well. As you can see, I'm using a better webcam. I thought I might, jazz up the place for it, and I'm also in a new place, so basically now I'm using I was going to buy a new one, but I'm using my PlayStation Eye, which is basically the iToy for the PlayStation 3, and it's not like I use it for any games, considering barely any games actually use it, so I'm going to use that as a webcam, because it's better than the laptop one. And instead of using this crappy old basic laptop screen, as you can see in my mirror, I'm actually using my big 32-inch TV. So, I'm really upscaling for this. I know there's still the watermark in this corner, but I'm going to, I'm going to save up for a week or two, and then I'm actually going to buy the full, deluxe edition of Cyberlink UCam, and then there'll be no more watermarks, so I'll get rid of that after a while. So, anyway, that's kind of a little broken introduction, but I suppose I'm getting straight into talking about how I'm upscaling. I'm going to try and not go onto weird tangents while I'm talking about specific things, but then in between the specific kind of articles and stuff, then I'm just going to talk away about nothing or whatever the hell I want. So there'll be bits of both. And yeah, so I'm going to be doing reviews, kind of, little mini time waster things that I've kind of come across during the week. I'm going to have just kind of gaming news. It's not exactly going to be exclusive because my source is the internet, just like most other people I know. And yeah, I'm going to have a weekly shout out at the end, just for another page or, website, YouTube channel, whatever people I know who deserve a shout out, pretty much, is how this is going to work. So I'm going to get started with a review. My very first review is going to be on the new Trackmania games, or the new Mania Planet system that they're using. So if I'm ever looking up, it's because the webcam is up here. Or no, the screen is up here, the webcam's down here. Yeah, so Trackmania Canyon, or well, Trackmania Squared is what these ones are called. There's Trackmania Squared, Canyon, and Stadium are the two that they've released so far. And then they've also gone a different direction with Shootmania Storm, which I've started downloading the open beta, which is basically a demo version of it, but I just haven't actually finished downloading it yet, so I won't be able to tell you much about Shootmania Storm. However, Trackmania Canyon and Stadium are as good as any of the old Trackmania games. So now I'm going to backtrack a bit. Trackmania are basically these racing games, just driving around in regular cars, but the tracks are insane. There's crazy loop-de-loops and big banks and driving up walls and jumps and all this crazy shit. I also have footage, so just check this out. And this is the kind of thing, obviously it's not the best footage ever, but when you're playing it properly and you're actually good at the game, you'll be able to see how it really works. Run, go. Oh shit, here we go. Ah, no, I'm gonna make it. No, I'm not gonna make it. Ah. Oh, that wasn't so bad. Let's try this again. Oh, it's so intense. Oh no, I'm gonna spin out of control. Oh, I'm upside down again. Oh, it's so scary. I'll have to make this big loop. Oh no, shit. I have to make this big loop this time. I can do this. My whole family depends on this. Oh no, I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. I'm not gonna make it. Ah. Obviously the voices aren't really in the game, but it's the same kind of feeling of dread when you're going upside down and you can feel everything just becoming weightless, and you just go thump and you just fall off the cliff. That's one of the few loops I've actually played in the default tracks, because there's different levels of difficulty, and then after the levels of difficulty, then, and like they get harder to unlock the next stages. Like at the first you need bronze medals, and then you need silver medals, and then you need to get gold medals to progress. And then there's the black stages, which are like the five hardest, and you have to get gold in every single other track in the game to even play them. And then you can play online against other people as usual, or else you can go solo and just kind of race against times. There's like the gold medal, silver medal, bronze medal times, and then you can also race against pretty much any ranked player in the world. Well, you can play against their ghost, so you can race against anyone's best time, not exactly them, so they don't even have to be online, which is a very nice feature. And you can also make your own tracks. There's editors. As you may have seen, the car I was driving in that, the colours were weird and all messed up, and that's basically because I just made a car and then I started putting on this weird dirt design, and then I started making it super shiny so it looked like kind of weird brown car with black lightning. And then there's a spray can tool, which is just like, it's like if you're just get a paintbrush on paint and you're just going woo woo around the car. And so I was just spraying it with all these other random colours, so you can do that. You could write, you could actually vandalize your own car essentially. I mean, you could write penis in huge pink writing across the side of your car if you wanted. Obviously, I don't know how strict the whole online kind of words censorship system is, so I don't know if that kind of thing could get you banned, but you could certainly try it. I don't know. I probably will at some point. I'd only played online that much, so I don't care if I get banned from it. Unless I can't play the game at all. That would just suck. But yeah, it's such a fun game. Seriously. I mean, Canyon, I think it's 20 euro. So it's probably $20, £20, 20 whatever country you're from has currency. Her current, you know what I mean. And then Trackmania Stadium, I think is only 8, or is it more expensive? No, I'm pretty sure it's only €8. And there's also a free beta, which is basically the demo, which gives you the green tracks, which are kind of the easiest ones. But still, I mean, definitely if you want to try out the game, that's where you shoot start. And then Shootmania Storm is like €13, I think. Sorry, I don't actually have these off the top of my head. Probably should have, but whatever. And there's also an open beta of that, so you can download that demo too, which is also great. And they're both pretty small. Like the Shootmania has 1.2 gigs. I think Trackmania Stadium is less than a gigabyte, and I forget how much Canyon was. But I definitely recommend you try those out. Also, if you feel like splashing out a bit more, the old ones, Trackmania United Forever, is €30, but that's the one before Trackmania Squared, and that's like a full kind of complete game. I think there's a lot more content in that, but that's just because this is just one full package as opposed to Canyon and Stadium being kind of separate entities. Like Stadium is just with the Stadium tracks and Canyon is just with the Canyon tracks. So there's more variety in United Forever. But definitely they all play the same. The controls are simple. You'd use the up arrow, down arrow, left arrow and right arrow, and spacebar for the handbrake. And then backspace just resets you to the previous checkpoint because you're going to go off the track a lot. And that's all the controls you need. So they don't really have to add or take away any much from all the games from one to the next. But definitely I seriously recommend you try those games out. They'd be well worth it. Now for my little kind of small mini time waster kind of a game. Well, not even a time waster, but it'll definitely take up a lot more of your time than you wanted to. I only started playing yesterday. Was it yesterday? What day was yesterday? Friday? No. What day is today? Tuesday. Today's Tuesday. I'm recording on Tuesdays and uploading on Wednesdays. That's going to happen every week. So Monday. Yeah, I only started playing it last night. I started playing Hexagon, which is just the Flash version of it. But you'll most likely more know of Super Hexagon, which is on Steam, iOS and Android. And it's basically this kind of constantly moving game where you're this little triangle and there's these lines coming towards you, and the whole camera's rotating as well, and you just have to dodge the things that are coming towards you, and it gets harder and faster and it keeps on going. And the aim in each one of them, in each one of the stages, is hexagon, hexagoner, hexagonist, and then there's the hyper versions of each of those if you finish the other ones. Basically, as far as I can tell, the goal is to last 60 seconds. At least on hexagon. I can't even go anywhere near it on the other two difficulties because it's extremely hard, because you just have to deal with all the things coming at you, and then you also have to deal with the camera itself rotating, and everything's kind of pounding to the music. The soundtrack, it's a good segue. The soundtrack is amazing. It's all done by Chipsell, and she's a chiptune artist, and she's just amazing. Check out her work as well. But the music is it's really kind of pulse pounding kind of music, only it's all chiptuney. It gives you a headache after a while if you're that kind of person, and there's lots of flashing and shit spinning all over the place. It hurts, but it's so good. It's so addictive. Yeah, I mean, like 2 days ago, so one of my friends on Steam, I'm not going to mention him because he got me into that bloody game, that it takes up a lot of your time. You kind of just get sucked into it. He told me about it and told me to start playing it, and then, you know, his best time on the Flash version was like 65 seconds or something, and I couldn't even beat that. And then the 2-pack of Super Hexagon on Steam is $5, and the single pack is €5, so it's probably the same. So you can buy 2 of them for €5 or 1 of them for $3. And so he didn't have the Super Hexagon version, and he kept on hinting at me to buy it for him. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, it's a $5. And so I bought it for myself, and I gifted him the other one. And yeah, it's so good. But you should try it out. If you want to kind of start off without paying for it, just play the Flash version. I'll put a link to it in the description as well, just so you can check it out, and you can thank me for it afterwards. Well, I'm about hopefully halfway through, and I think this is going pretty well so far, don't you? I mean, I think I'm going fine. Oh, I'm drinking generic cola again. I should probably take off the labels so no one knows. So I can't get sued by this company for advertising illicitly, or whatever the word is, without permission. Yeah. Although if they don't want people to advertise their drink without permission, then I really should make these labels easier to take off. Yes. Now none of you know who I'm drinking. Yeah, I haven't even started drinking it yet. Well, I have, but not since I started recording anyway. Yes, this is an unhealthily big bottle, but it's cheap and whatever. Yeah, to be honest, it's healthier than a lot of other shit I drink. I mean, I live off Monster and coffee. Although I don't know if Coke is healthier than coffee, but whatever. This is my notes. These are my show notes for the Masquerade. And then I'll show off my stuff in this little intermission. And yeah, I also have this Mario folder that I even got from Club Nintendo. It says the Masquerade Show Notes Archive, which basically I'm just going to tear off the page when I'm done and pop it in here. I even have a bookmark. It's not useful in any way, and Luigi's on it, so I don't like it. See, Luigi's just on the back saying, "Hi guys, don't forget about me," or whatever he sounds in Italian. I'm not even going to try and do an Italian accent because I'd offend. I don't know if I have Italian viewers, but just in case I get really big and Italy love me, and I'd be like, "Oh, first episode, he starts insulting Italians. It's too early for me to be racist. I need to actually have people who will stick with me before I start getting racist." Yeah, I think we should get back into the beef of it now. So this next part is just going to be me talking about myself a little bit. Not even anything big or exciting, but just, stuff. As I've been going on about on Twitter and stuff for a while, I'm gone back to Windows 7. And since I went back to Windows 7, I've been installing so many updates. I still actually have updates to install. Downloading takes a fair bit because my internet is so slow, but then the installation of most of them, the worst being the language packs. I know I don't need language packs because I'm never going to change my display language to Latvian, But it's just the principle of it that I want to have them all just sorted out of the way. But there's like 2 gigs worth, and it takes each one up to, if not more than an hour to install, because whatever stupid ass reason. They're now all finished, but so now I just have some more important updates that I'm pretty sure I've already installed but keep on asking me to install. But yeah, that just takes so long. I'm sick up to here. I'm sick up to here with updates, seriously. And also what's even worse is that I have to reinstall most of my Steam library again. Although I've got most of it done now except for like 2 or 3 big ones. Like I have to, what's left to really install are Civilization 5, Arma 2, the basic one because I've already downloaded all the DLC and stuff. Just because I want to play DayZ. Sims 3 and Modern Warfare 2, which is the only actual Modern Warfare or Call of Duty game I have on my laptop. But I don't really care because it's probably my favourite one. Just because I love the Spec Ops. For that reason, I'm actually going to buy it on PS3 because I miss doing the Spec Ops missions. They're so much fun. And speaking of Call of Duty and Black Ops, I'm ever since buying Black Ops 2, you may have noticed that I've been getting very much into it. Although that's discrimination because not everyone is going to be watching this is on Twitter or following me on Twitter. But yeah, I've been getting very much into Black Ops 2 recently. But I was playing it today, and my nephew was watching. He wants me to play the PlayStation so he can watch me. Fair enough. He's 8. And I was like, screw it. I'm going to get him to play. And I handed him a controller and we were just playing team deathmatch against bots. Both of us on the same team. Just against the recruit difficulty bots. And, he is his first time really kind of working a PlayStation controller properly. And he wasn't really used to the whole first-person shooter looking around. But in all fairness, he didn't do too bad. When we were against the recruit bots, he died maybe once or twice and got about 5 or 6 kills, which is grand, I suppose. To be honest, I was just enjoying using the 3 highest kill streaks. Or, well, not the 3 highest. I was using Orbital VSAT, VTOL Warship, and... no, it wasn't. I was using the Lodestar and the Swarm. And, killing those guys was so easy, killing the bots, and my nephew was with me, so I wasn't killing him. And they're so easy, and they can't even touch me. So I'd be finishing a game at like 55-1. And, swarming and everything. It's just so much fun. I'd love to actually be able to be that good playing online against real people, because it's just such a big thrill. Then there was the one time that we went against each other, and he was on the other team, and I was just kicking ass, and so every single time he died, it was me who killed him. And so then I got a swarm in, and I was just blowing him up left, right, and centre, and needless to say, that didn't last very long, because he started getting really annoyed at the fact that he kept on dying. But otherwise, it was grand. And then we started playing zombies, and he was doing better. He was getting a lot more kills. But yeah, I must say it wasn't the worst experience ever. He seemed to be doing well enough, regardless of the fact that he is 10 years too young to play the game. But I always stand to this, that in a controlled environment, it's okay, and I'm sticking with that. So don't judge me for getting my 8-year-old nephew to play Call of Duty with me. Yeah, sure, whatever. Younger people play it already on their own, and they're screaming every single possible insult, even ones that I've never even heard of, at complete strangers over the internet, over their headset, and there's no way in hell are they 18. So, I'm not getting them to scream "you faggots" down the microphone. I've got nothing. I don't use the word faggot derogatorily, or as a derogatory term, but I know for a fact that those kids on headsets do. Kids on headsets. Jesus, I'm not that old. So, gaming news. I think the big news that's still kind of ringing clear at the moment is the Ps4 announcement. I didn't watch the whole thing. I just watched bits and pieces of it because, the PlayStation 3 website was streaming it live. And that's nice of the PlayStation that it actually told you about it. And yeah, so I was watching a lot of that. I think most of it. There's 1 or 2 things I missed. I didn't get to see Destiny, nor did I even bother to look it up on YouTube afterwards because I completely forgot about it. And, what else is there? Then there's the ones I actually watched, like Killzone. Killzone looks cool. It just looks like a really cool dramatic cutscene from the PS3. But if the PS3 kind of makes the cutscenes, but if the PS4 makes the in-game look like that, then it'll be amazing. I know that the PlayStation 4 will be able to process more stuff on a screen at once, but I've seen kind of scripted explosions and kind of ships flying past in games before. So even having more of that, I don't know how impressive it's going to be, unless they really just go all out with it. But otherwise, I mean, it looks amazing. And the Killzone people, that's the wrong hand, so I'm not used to the reversed webcam. The Killzone people, Guerrilla or whatever. I remember when the first Killzone came out on the PS2, and the graphics were amazing for a PS2 game. Looking back, obviously now they wouldn't be that good, but they looked absolutely shit hot back then. What other games? Oh yeah, Driveclub. It seems pretty cool. I mean, it seems kind of like what Grid was, or Grid still is really. Is that it's kind of a team-based thing, only that instead of just kind of having computer-controlled teams, that there'd be more real-life teams. Which could be cool, but it looks like a game that would require a lot of dedication. I know obviously if you're playing a game competitively and getting in tournaments and stuff, then every game, like, you know, you can say the same about Call of Duty or Street Fighter or whatever, that every one of those takes serious dedication. But, you know, it seems like a kind of game that you can't exactly play casually if you want to get the most out of it. You know, like with Gran Turismo or whatever, you can kind of just sit down, do a race. Granted, the race might last an hour or something, but you can still just do a race and, you know, then be done with it. But, you know, then with this, if you really want to kind of get a lot out of it, you kind of like sit down and be like, call up your friend Dave, and he'd be like, oh, hi, hey, do you want to play Driveclub? And he'd be like, oh, no, sorry, not right now, man. I have a child and I have to take care of it, and, you know, I've got bills to pay. And it's like, oh, okay, fine. I'll call someone else. Hi, Barry, do you want to play? And it's like, oh, yeah, great, hold on. Just give me, I'll be done in an hour. And be like, oh, okay. And you're just sitting there and you're just like, what am I going to do for an hour? And it seems like that kind of thing. I hope I'm not talking too fast and you can actually hear everything I'm saying. That part was just all made up anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But otherwise, I mean, the graphics, you know, that everything is like, every single strand of carbon fiber on the car is so, like, you know, intricately detailed, and every single one has its own separate reflection and all that. I mean, it looks absolutely incredible for a game, for a racing game. I know the likes of Forza and Gran Turismo already look amazing, but I think the PlayStation cars and the driving game environments are one thing that could be seriously made better by the PlayStation 4, just because of all that separate reflections on carbon fiber and car parts, and windscreens having that weird rainbow effect, kind of, you know, when they're newly washed and all that kind of thing. So that could be amazing if they do it right. Watch Dogs looks really cool, but when I saw the Ubisoft logo, and then when it's going through the city and there's all the kind of like big kind of glitchy graphic-y stuff coming up, I just thought, oh, this looks so much like Assassin's Creed, and that made me cringe. I'll be honest, that didn't make me feel good. Okay, I'm going to start off right now by saying I'm not a big fan of Assassin's Creed, nor can I even really tolerate it that much anymore. I know, don't hate me, whatever, I don't even care. I mean, that's my opinion, hate me or whatever for you want, but, you know, it's just how I feel, that I'm not a big fan of Assassin's Creed at all. I have the first one, couldn't get that much into it because I just find it so painfully repetitive and tedious at the start. And I know then the whole storyline buffs out more when you start getting into the heavier memories or whatever they're called in that game. But I just couldn't get that far because he was like, oh, go sneak behind this guy and then kill him when he goes somewhere even remotely private. And then one of those beggar bitches comes after you, like, oh, give me money. She gives away her position, and then you have to punch her, and then your man runs away. And, oh, it's a disaster. And ever since, I just never been able to like Assassin's Creed. That was a total deviation. But yeah, Watch Dogs, when that started, and I was like, it looks very much like it. And even when you're walking around the city, like, the graphics look as impressive as they did when Assassin's Creed first came out. You know, it's kind of like, oh, the in-game looks amazing and everything. And it's like, oh, wow, look at that. But it looks like the kind of game that, it seems really cool, where, you know, you can identify everyone and kind of, you know, like rob his bank account by scanning him from behind and going up to an ATM and scanning it, and he goes, bloop, 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 he'll take all his money. But it looks like another one of these things that there's a lot of kind of repetitive missions like that you have to complete before the story will progress any bit. What's the word? Significantly. You protect that woman from being mugged or whatever, or beaten up, and then you go chase him and shoot him or pin him down or whatever. And then after that, you do that mission and you get some points or money or whatever, good man things. But then what? Do you have to do, how many more of those missions do you have to do before you actually get anywhere big in the story? So it looks really cool, and I like the concept, but just as long as they don't turn it into another Assassin's Creed where you have to do loads of small shitty jobs before you get to do anything big and decent at all. That's my one fear about Watch Dogs, that they could completely screw it up if they do that. What else was here? The rest of them then didn't really they were the main ones for me. I mean, I noticed things like Knack, which does look really cool. That looks like a kind of more, I thought it was going to be more of a kiddie game, but then it started looking kind of more like a heavier kind of than that. So it started looking to me like a kind of more Jack and Daxter style, where, it was a kid's game, but it wasn't that easy, and it wasn't, it was kind of a bit deeper than that. And then they got really hardcore teenage kind of a thing with the whole, he speaks and he swears within his first, few lines of dialogue and all this, and everyone's trying to kill you, and it turns into like Grand Theft Auto Jr. But I think Knack could be that kind of thing, and the way you can get really big is cool. And that's one thing that the PlayStation 4 should be able to handle, more kind of, not particles, but little kind of bits and units like that all come together then and go woo, and you become a giant and you can beat shit up. And it looks really cool. So you can just throw bits at enemies. I think that could be a very fun kind of a platformy adventure kind of game, which is exactly what it looks like. Deep down, it looks cool. I mean, to be honest, I can't even get into that much because it doesn't really look like a game I'm going to get. I mean, if I get a PlayStation 4 at all, it probably wouldn't be on the top of my list. With Capcom, really, I'd be waiting for something, like next Devil May Cry or Resident Evil. Deep Down does look impressive. I'm not even going to lie. Fighting the dragon and stuff looks awesome, but it's not on the top of my list. Infamous, what is it, Second Son or something? I only have Infamous written down, not the tagline or the subtitle. When I saw the trailer and with your man's description, I was like, this game looks and sounds like Infamous. And you see Sucker Punch and it's like, oh god, this is just Infamous again. It just looks like a complete copy of it by the same developers, which is worse. And then afterwards, at the end of the cutscene, it says Infamous. I was like, oh, that actually makes me feel better that it's a sequel, because otherwise it would have just been horrible. It would have been a terrible oversight. It was like, oh wow, this doesn't look like Infamous at all. But at least now it's actually a sequel to Infamous, so that's fine. But there's not really much more they can do with that, you'd think. So I wonder where they're going to go with it. He has electric powers, he has ice powers or something. What are they going to do now? Fire is the most logical way, I suppose. And then the Square Enix tech demo. When Square Enix came up, that was the one I was probably most excited about. And the whole cutscene that they made looked amazing. But for me, I know I wasn't watching it in full HD. I was just watching it on the PlayStation website and it wasn't very clear. But it just seemed like, they've already pushed the boundaries with graphics and stuff. Like with things like Advent Children, the movie, and even on PS2 they had amazing cutscenes. Like I was playing Dirge of Cerberus recently, and the resolution was bad, but you could tell that the cutscene quality was there. And even just, with everything, all the PlayStation 2 games, Final Fantasy 10, 10-2, 13. No, 13 wasn't on the PlayStation 2. 12 I meant. And even then, 13 looks amazing. 13.2 looks amazing. All the other ones that come out on the PlayStation 2 before that are probably going to be outstanding. And so with the graphics, they're really going to have to kick it up a notch. And especially with the in-game, that the in-game on Final Fantasy games looks amazing, but there's always something that makes you be able to tell that it doesn't look as good as the cutscenes. So it's a very fine line, but if they can make that line fade even more, then they'll really be doing something right. Obviously they have to have decent gameplay, because 13 has been criticized into the ground and 13.2 was much better, but it plays kind of the same. So they're going to have to do something really, really new, or go back to the old ones that'll make people happy again. And I know Devil May Cry just did something really, really new, even though it plays the same and everybody hated it. So realistically, it's not going to be able to please everyone. So I'd rather they just go completely ass out and do something brand new, completely off the wall, but, you know, people will love it, people will hate it. I know for a fact that I will most likely love it, just because at heart I'm a Final Fantasy fanboy. So that's, and he said, I can't remember his name, he said that they're announcing it on E3, so I'm going to be watching that like a hawk to find out what Final Fantasy for the next generation is going to be like. And yeah, that is actually all of my PlayStation 4 announcement news, and because I took up a lot of time with that, I'm not going to really do any other gaming news for this week, but hopefully in future I'll actually be able to cover maybe more than one game, and or just more than one item at a time. Well, I think I'm coming close to the end of this, but I need to take another drink. This isn't exactly hydrating me that well, because I'm talking a lot and so I'm becoming dehydrated, and Coke isn't exactly the solution for that. Oh, excuse me. Oh yeah, I hope, I'm looking at my room in the camera. It actually turned out quite well. I was going to use the, I already said that, never mind. Yeah, and I had the posters behind me to fix the white balance on the other webcam, because it wasn't as clear, so there's a big sudden bright behind me, but at least this one can actually pick it up better, and it's duller, so I don't actually need these posters to fix the white balance, but still, there's no harm. It makes my room look a bit more gamery. I'm trying to keep everything as kind of gaming influenced as possible. I'll probably get other like little tidbits. I mean, this is just my desk at the moment. It's just the lid off a box, and I have my show notes on it, and I have my mouse, my new gaming mouse, and just the mouse mat I use for it. So I'm going to try and get more gaming thingies, because it is very gaming influenced. Like even this top and this whole kind of blue jeans, white top and green is inspired by, oh, I can't remember what the game is called, but there's a character on it called Akira. It was like a graphic novel kind of a game, and it was like, don't take it personally, this story just ain't about you, or something like that. It's by the same people who make Analog a Love Story and Analog a Hate Story and Digital Love Story. It's, as far as I know, it's by the same developer. They're all just kind of graphic novel, interactive story kind of things, you know, like Katawa Shoujo and stuff. But yeah, this whole outfit is inspired by him, except the slippers. But you know, I'm just wearing slippers because my feet are cold, but you can't see that. That's okay. But yeah, hopefully the more episodes that go in, this will become more of a studio as opposed to just a bedroom. That's, well, obviously I'm going to have a bedroom, but you know, I'm going to probably get a HD webcam, and I'm going to get rid of the watermark on this, and maybe get like a proper studio mic. You know, it'll, you know, I've got plenty of time, because I'm not going to win this anytime soon. And so now for the final part of this, I will be having my weekly shout out. And this week's shout out is for another show. Well, they're more of a podcast, a legitimate podcast. They've been around for ages, called Sound the Alarm. They were formerly kind of Sound the Alarm, and now they've moved on to the StartSelect show. In Sound the Alarm, at the start there was Adam, Chris and Jeff. Then after a while Jeff left, so it was just Adam and Chris doing Sound the Alarm. And then up to 100 episodes. Their 100th was just about 2 or 3 weeks ago now. And they finished up. But then they move on to the Sound the Alarm, or no. Well, yeah, they have Sound the Alarm 2.0 and the StartSelect show. The StartSelect show now has Adam and Chris from Sound the Alarm. I think Jeff is also Jeff from Sound the Alarm, the original, and Andy. Jeff and Andy are from Budget Gamers, which was another website that they're on. I don't actually know if that's ended completely now, but if it hasn't, I'll link it. And to be honest, I don't actually know. I probably should have done more research into my weekly shout out, but whatever, you know, they won't mind. You won't mind, guys. But yeah, so now they're doing the StartSelect show. They recorded it live. They have like a webcam looking down, and they're recording it live on Sunday nights. I don't know what time it is in American time, because I'm terrible with time zones. But in Ireland anyway, it's 1 o'clock a.m., 1:30 maybe. So that's pretty late. If you're from UK or Ireland or GMT, it's pretty late. But if you're in America, then it'll be like around 6 o'clock or 8 o'clock or something. So that's a much more reasonable time. If you're anywhere else, don't even ask. I don't know what time zone you're in. But yeah, they're absolutely amazing. And now what they're doing is that they have the StartSelect show. I haven't even talked about what they do. For the StartSelect show, they kind of have more serious kind of actual gaming talk, and talking about games that come out and what they've been playing, and all this kind of stuff. They were like, for their first episode, they covered the PlayStation 4 things as well, and they all had their own opinion. And then they also kind of get influenced by chat, because while you're watching it live, there's a chat room too, so they can see it, and you can talk away and you can kind of mention what you've been playing or your own opinions on something. So they talk about games and whatever, and there's kind of less goofing around in that one. And then they kind of end that after about half an hour, and then they go right into Sound the Alarm 2.0, which is basically the new STA show, which has Adam and Chris and Jeff and Andy again. And that's just kind of more talking whatever shit. They might have something else that they wanted to talk about, but none of it is really serious at all, which is good, because before they used to kind of have the games and then just kind of mixed in with other random talking about crap. But this one now, they've just allocated time for the games and allocated time for the crap. But it's just absolutely brilliant. I mean, on last Sunday, as in like 2 days ago when I was watching it, I mean, we're talking about the sexiest video game females. Like, they had like a list of top 50, and Adam read out an article about the Hulk Hogan sex tape, and I can safely say that I was in tears when I was in tears when he was reading it out. I just couldn't even. It was just one of the funniest things. I mean, you could watch it and think that's amusing, but just hearing someone else read about it, it was just priceless. So definitely you should check it out. I mean, I'm going to post links in the description, links for all of them. I'd say, they've all got Twitters, assuming you have Twitter too. I'm sure there's a Sound the Alarm Facebook page. I don't know if there's a StartSelect Facebook page yet. But you should. Sorry, I had to breathe. But definitely you should seriously check all those guys out. That you'll definitely will not regret. And so that's all we've got time for in this episode. I don't know how long this has gone on for, and I apologize if it is way too long. But I think it went successful, and so please let me know how you think it went. I mean, there's a comment section there for a reason. Leave your comments, let me know how you liked it, what I did wrong, if you could hear me talking, if you could see me, if you don't want to see me, if, whatever you want. Any suggestions about what you'd like me to talk about, anything I did right, wrong, left, I don't know, bad, up, whatever. Just, you can let me know in the comments, and, if you like the video, please like it. If you disliked it, please don't dislike it, whatever, or fuck it, if you want to dislike it, do, but I'd appreciate it if you didn't. Leave a comment saying you're shit, but at least I won't leave that disgusting grey bar on my dislikes. Follow me on Twitter at the Masked Guy. It's going to be there. I now have a Facebook page, facebook.com/the Masked Guy. And yeah, I mean, if you're not subscribed to me, please do, because I've got videos from the past, and if you want to keep in touch with more Masquerade videos when they come up, then that'll be it. Then they'll be there. So yeah, I mean, thank you very much for watching this one. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all again next week for the next episode of The Masquerade. See you all then.